Coverdale Bible, The Acts of the Apostles, written by St. Luke the Evangelist. What the Acts contain. Chapter 23. Paul cometh before the council. Debate ariseth among the people. The captain delivereth him. God comforteth him. The 23rd chapter. Paul beheld the council, and said, Ye men and brethren, I have lived with all good conscience before God unto this day. But the high priest Ananias commanded them that stood about him to smite him on the mouth. Then said Paul unto him, God shall smite thee, thou painted wall. Sittest thou and judgest me after the law, and commandest me to be smitten contrary to the law? And they that stood about him said, Revilest thou God's high priest? And Paul said, Brethren, I wist not that he was the high priest. For it is written, The ruler of thy people shalt thou not curse. But when Paul knew that the one part was Sadducees, and the other part Pharisees, he cried out in the council, Ye men and brethren, I am a Pharisee, and the son of a Pharisee. Of hope and resurrection of the dead am I judged. And when he had so said, there arose a dissension between the Pharisees and the Sadducees, and the multitude was divided. For the Sadducees say that there is no resurrection, neither angel nor spirit, but the Pharisees grant both. And there was made a great cry. And the scribes of the Pharisee sect stood up and strove, and said, We find no evil in this man. But if a spirit or an angel have spoken unto him, let us not strive against God. But when the dissension was great, the upper captain feared that Paul should have been plucked asunder of them, and commanded the soldiers to go down, and to take him from them, and to bring him into the castle. But in the night following, the Lord stood by him, and said, Be of good cheer, Paul, for as thou hast testified of me at Jerusalem, so must thou testify at Rome also. Now when it was day, certain of the Jews gathered themselves together, and made a vow neither to eat nor drink till they had killed Paul. They were more than 40 which had made this conspiration. These came to the high priests and elders, and said, We have bound ourselves with a vow that we will eat nothing till we have slain Paul. Now therefore give ye knowledge to the upper captain and to the council, that he may bring him forth unto you tomorrow, as though ye would hear him yet better. As for us, we are ready to kill him, ere ever he come nigh you. But when Paul's sister's son heard of their laying await, he came and entered into the castle, and told Paul. So Paul called unto him one of the under captains, and said, Bring this young man to the upper captain, for he hath somewhat to say to him. He took him, and brought him to the upper captain, and said, Paul the prisoner called me unto him, and prayed me to bring to thee this young man, which hath somewhat to say unto thee. Then the high captain took him by the hand, and went aside with him out of the way, and asked him, What is it that thou hast to say unto me? He said, The Jews are agreed together to desire thee to let Paul be brought forth tomorrow before the council, as though they would yet hear him better. But follow not thou their minds, for there lay wait for him more than 40 men of them, which have bound themselves with a vow, neither to eat nor drink, till they have slain Paul. And even now are they ready, and look for thy promise. Then the upper captain let the young man depart, and charged him to tell no man that he had showed him this. And he called unto him 2 under captains, and said, Make ready 200 soldiers, that they may go to Caesarea, and 70 horsemen, and 200 spearmen at the 3rd hour of the night, and deliver them beasts, that they may set Paul thereon, and bring him safe unto Felix the deputy. And he wrote a letter on this manner: Claudius Lysias, unto the most mighty deputy Felix, greeting. The Jews had taken this man, and would have slain him. Then came I with soldiers, and rescued him, and perceived that he is a Roman. And when I would have known the cause wherefore they accused him, I brought him into their council. Then perceived I that he was accused about questions of their law, but there was no accusation worthy of death or of bonds. And when it was showed me that certain Jews laid wait for him, I sent him straightway unto thee, and commanded the accusers also that look what they had against him, they should tell the same before thee. Farewell. The soldiers, as it was commanded them, took Paul, and brought him to Antipatris. But on the next day they left the horsemen to go with him, and turned again to the castle. When these came to Caesarea, they delivered the letter unto the deputy, and presented Paul before him also. When the deputy had read the letter, he asked of what country he was. And when he understood that he was of Cilicia, he said, I will hear thee, when thine accusers are come also. And he commanded him to be kept in Herod's judgment house.